Welcome back to the Everyday Athlete YouTube channel. This weekend we are in London at the Excel Arena for a Hyrox Pro Men's event. I'm going to be taking you down on the journey into London and then the race itself.
When you look back at the moment you first decided to take Hyrox seriously?
Good question. I wanted to get into Hyrox in 2023, I think it was, and couldn't get a ticket. And I was a bit dubious. It wasn't as big as it is now. And I kept saying I wanted to do, I think it was like Valencia or Malaga, and I never ended up booking it. Didn't think it would be as big as it's become, and it wasn't until I think sort of the start of 2024 that it really started to gain some traction, and I booked Birmingham. I started training for it, started doing everything I thought I needed to do. Was in a fitness group, which I was one of the fittest guys in, and I thought to myself, yep, definitely got it, blah de blah. Turned up to that first event, and it was an eye-opener. I was massively humbled, and it was from that moment on then that I thought to myself, not that I could go pro or anything like that, but I needed to be better. So I sort of got an online coach. I took it seriously with the training, upped the volume massively, and trained like Hyrox sort of athletes do train or should train, rather than just your sort of bodybuilding with a bit of running on the side. It wasn't then until sort of London that I improved my time massively, and then from London until now I've really hammered it hard and tried to sort of live that athlete lifestyle. Although it's hard to live that lifestyle when you work a full-time job, etc. But they all do it as well. Only the top elites are the ones that don't work. The guys breaking into the elites now, they all work, they all have full-time jobs, so it's definitely possible. So it's not like it's out of the realm. And as I've said before, it's one of them things that if I don't believe that I can do it, in my opinion, there's no point in me actually trying. So yeah, that's when. So I'd probably say 6 months ago, when I sort of competed at London, I realised that the improvements that I'd made, yes, your improvements are always going to be higher at the beginning, and it starts to then sort of slow down. But I thought definitely if I apply myself like I have, but more, then what can I achieve?
And would you say, was there any one weakness, either physical or mentally, that you really had to challenge yourself to improve before you were able to confidently compete in the pro events rather than the open?
So obviously so obviously finishing Birmingham this year with the sub 60, that in my head was a prerequisite for being able to confidently go into a men's pro, because that was just what I'd said to myself from the start. I said, like, I wouldn't want to go into a men's pro without having a sub 60 under my belt. Now, you don't need to. I mean, realistically, you can buy a pro ticket just the same you can buy an open ticket. It is a lot harder. I went into Madrid with the full knowingness, or whatever the word would be, I knew it was going to be difficult. I knew it was going to be hard. And the one thing obviously it highlighted to me was strength. I need a strength gain. From a running point of view and a fitness point of view, I think that's there. I think I've definitely got that. And I definitely have room for improvement on the running. So if I can improve the running, then incredible. For me, it's a big strength thing.
And how has your training changed since just competing in Open to now Pro? Is it just a change in volume, or is there anything new that you're implementing into your programming?
So I think the difference between the training hasn't changed at all yet, because I've come off the back of Birmingham a month ago, to then Madrid, so not a lot can change in a month, and then a week between Madrid and London. I'll figure out how the training is going to change over the next 4 months. My next event is Glasgow, March 15th, and that's going to be the true test, because I'm going to be coming out of the back of this one. We have Christmas. I'm not going to stop training over Christmas, but I'm going to be a bit more relaxed, take a little bit of a deload, and start a new training block within the new year. So that then gives me sort of 12 weeks or so then to hit Glasgow, having implemented new training protocols. And as I say, that's just going to be a lot more strength work, focusing on being stronger within the weighted aspect of it. So the sleds, the walking lunges, and the wall balls mainly. I'm still going to improve my running, but like I say, I'm going to have a lot more emphasis being put onto the strength aspect.
What goes through your head when you stood on the start line?
Good question. Nerves usually. I usually have I always have nerves, and I always think to myself, it's completely normal to have nerves going into any race, whether it's Hyrox, whether it's a marathon. It's really good to be stood on the start line with nerves, because I think it means that you care and that you actually give a shit about what you're about to do. The nerves have got better over time, because I think there's different types of nerves as well. There's the ones that are like debilitating, that you literally just ruin you. Your adrenaline gets high, you know, your heart rate is through the roof. Whereas the nerves I get now are like excited nerves. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to get out there, because I know as soon as I start running, those disappear, because you haven't really got time to think. The things I think about are, mainly for me, I know it's only going to take about an hour, so I'm just thinking it's just an hour, get through it. I also try and think, a lot of the training sessions that I do that are over an hour or even around the same time are harder, in my opinion. Like, a lot of the training I've done is so much harder than the actual race. So I think if I can train that way, I can definitely race that way. And then I have to also just then stamp into my own mind, do not get caught up with racing anybody else in that tent, because it's a fast way to just blow up real quick. You don't know any of them people in that tent with you, and if you do, you might know a couple. You're literally you're basing how well you think they're going to race on what they're wearing, how they look, how confident they are, and that's not always the case. Like, you know, you're gonna have people run out of that tent going full ball. You don't know whether it's their first event as well. Like, you could be racing somebody, it's their first time, they look confident, they look like they know what they're doing, you race them, and then before you know it, they're on the floor dying, and you overtake them. Or they do know what they're doing, and you try and keep up with them, and they absolutely blow you out of the water, and then you ruin your race. So that's what I have to then tell myself. So yeah, that's pretty much the start line thinking. And then as soon as that go whistle starts, you don't really get time to think about anything else.
What advice would you give to a person who, you know, who sees like the sort of the highlights that you put on your Instagram, or even other people racing, that maybe not too sure how to start to train, or what do you think is the most important thing that someone can do just to get started and start their journey to be able to compete like you?
I'm not going to talk from somebody who is brand new, having never stepped foot in a gym before. I'm going to talk about somebody that's maybe got a little bit of gym experience, they've been to the gym before, they might have been on a couple of runs, they might do park run every now and then. Where would I start if I was that person? And firstly, I would join a gym that can facilitate all of the Hyrox needs that you've got. So, like, you know, have a sled, because I can't emphasize how much it means to have a sled. Like, we didn't have a sled at the gym when I did my first Hyrox, and I pushed a plyo box with weights on top, which just doesn't simulate the real thing. So when I came to the real sled, it cream crackered me, and I had no idea on how to do it. So have a sled, have wall balls. Don't have to be the official ones. You can make do without, but I'd definitely say have wall balls, have a target to hit. Kettlebells for your farmers carries, they're different to dumbbells. although you can still train with dumbbells, I would still have the correct equipment. So I'd have a gym that you can do it in, and if you can also get a gym that has Hyrox classes or a community of people within classes that you can train with, that also helps. I'd then say focus solely on running to start with. So everyone thinks that Hyrox is, you know, these fancy stations and then you do laps. It's more, you do laps with some fancy stations in the middle. So running takes up the majority of the race, and it's the thing that's going to impact the time, I think, the most. It's also obviously going to impact your fitness. So the fitter you are, the more you run, the better you're going to be going into the stations. So I would focus solely on running, build up a running base first, before you even worry about doing intervals or, you know, sort of threshold running. Is just focus on building your running up. The rest comes afterwards. And then obviously just build up strength to a point that you can get through 100 wall balls, you can get through the walking lunges and the sled pushes. And yeah, just don't be afraid to do it. You're not going to improve overnight. These things take time, and you get out of it just as much as you put in. So if you work hard, you're going to get really good results. If you don't work very hard, you know, you will still achieve results, but not as good. So that's what I'd say. That looks stupid. I feel like a dog and it's got a cone on.
What are your predictions for tonight then?
I mean, I want a sub 105. That was my goal for Madrid. I want probably like more like a pushing for a 103. So yeah, that's the goal, 103. Base recap, super chuffed with my time, 1:03.10, which is a 3-minute PB, which is sick. Whilst I'm absolutely chuffed off my tits, and I probably couldn't have gone any quicker in that race, I am still disappointed, which I found that I think I actually just am always disappointed, because it's not that I'm disappointed, I'm just really fucking excited to go away and train now, come back in March and be faster, and be stronger. I'm just a little bit gutted I've got to wait that long, but yeah, buzzing. 3 PBs, essentially a PB for Chloe as well, even though it was her first one. So all in all, super chuffed. Legs are killing, so yeah, over. Goodbye London XL. Boom baby.